Welcome to Comedy Crash Landing, Season 2. Comedier, crashier, and landinger than ever. I'm Matt Ravenscroft, and I have with me Douglas Glidden. Hey, Doug.
It's me. Well, hello, Matt. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great. We're in Season 2, and you know what that means? We're getting
What
away
does that
from
mean?
Season 1, where we were talking primarily to comedians and comedic personalities around Detroit. And this season, we're focusing on improv comedy. Now, Detroit?
Detroit has a rich history of improv going back to Second City days. And I'm looking forward to mixing it up with the improv people. So let's get going, Matt. Get this show on the road.
All right, we have with us Lauren Bickers and Dave Davies. Welcome, guys. Lauren
Thank you.
And Dave, both home team members at PlanetAnt and veteran improvers for a very long time. Lauren,
Yes.
how long has it been that you've been improving?
Since 2001. So
Since 2001.
yeah,
17 years.
Yeah.
That's great
Good math. Yeah.
Dave?
Probably since the about 93, 94, so about 25
Wow.
years.
25.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like in the early
25
days of Second City in Detroit that I took
Wow.
classes.
So let's start with the basics. We all know what sketch comedy is. Everybody's seen Saturday Night Live. We've all seen comedy sets from comedians. But what is improv as compared to those other forms?
I mean, it's made up on the spot. I mean, that's the simple answer.
Right.
But yeah, we get suggestions from the audience, and then we take those and we build scenes off of them. Sometimes it's in a short form game format, and then sometimes it's in a long form where we're just kind of doing scenes. But
But
yeah.
it's like teamwork too, right? You got to help each other
yeah.
out. and
Yeah, it's a big
You
part
can't
of it.
screw your neighbor, right?
Yeah, we call it acting without a script.
Right?
Because we're telling stories, but you're finding it all in the moment, in the actual moment. And that's the difference between improv and acting. With acting, it's you memorize a script and make everything sound like it's the first time you're saying it.
Right.
And in improv, it's the first time you're saying it, everything you
is,
say.
And every show that you put on is going to be completely unique. You know, you're not going to. You may have ideas that you go back to or concepts that you go back to because they've been proven to be funny or something. But you don't have. There's no scripts.
No.
There's nothing written, and it's all done in the moment.
Yep.
So, anytime you see a show, it's going to be different than the last show you saw.
But there's some structure, right? Like it'll be like a game, or you're doing some sort of method.
Yeah, with the short form games, there's a definite game structure with each scene that you do. There is a game that you're doing the scene within. With a long form, there are different long forms. So some of them are very loose, and then some of them are much more structured. The basic one would just be a montage, and that just literally is a series of scenes. And they could be any length. They just get swept in and out.
There's no theme to them. You just randomly pick.
You get usually you would get a suggestion at the beginning,
Oh, and that's the
then
theme.
from there
Right.
it just kind of grows. It influences the first scene, and then maybe scenes throughout. But it's very organic in how it goes from one scene to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really, we say there's rules in improv, but they're really more of best practices. It's like we found that it works best if you say, a lot of people tell you off the bat, what they know about it is always say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And that's the simple version. It goes deeper than that. It's just when you're doing a scene, just accept everything is said as true, as the reality of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if I started saying, we've been in this prison cell for 20 years now. It's like, that's what we know about it.
Sure.
That's where we
Because
are.
saying no, you haven't. You're right here with
Exactly.
us.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
really
We're
forward
in an
anything.
elevator.
It's boring.
Yeah.
And,
Everything is towards building the scene rather than taking away from it. Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
that. Yeah. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of best practices like that. Like don't ask questions is one.
Yeah.
Things along those lines that you just try to develop those habits to become a better improviser.
And can anyone call the scene? Like if things go sour or what? Things start getting a little.
Yeah. Well, usually you're working with a troupe. There are two-person troupes, but in general, troops are a little larger. So if you're out there doing a scene, there's people that are on the back line, and they will be the ones to edit your scene. So you're not usually
okay.
calling your own scene. You know,
okay.
you're taught also to you don't bail on anything. So not only do we build each other's ideas, but we are like committed to it.
To the
So
death
even
every
if
time.
you feel like it's tanking, like you go down with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, or you just try to bring it back up. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of improv teaching, and one of the things that I think we both teach, I always emphasize to students that your number one goal should always be to make your scene partners look as good as they can. Because if everyone's working with that goal,
Right.
Things turn out a lot better than they would be if you weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Detroit, we have this vibrant community of
Yeah.
improv. It's known, throughout the states as, a surprising mecca for a lot of improv groups and for major talents that go into improv comedy, throughout, in LA and New York. So we've already discussed that you guys are part of the home team at PlanetAnt. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the home team was started in 2000, so it's been quite some time. And the home team, actually, there are like over 40 members of the home team
Yeah, over the years.
over the years, and a lot of them don't live in town anymore. A lot of them are in LA or New York. But it is like anyone that's a part of the home. Once you're a part of the home team, you're always a part of the home team. So you've been a part of the home team for longer than I have. I've been
since the beginning, since
Oh,
we
you-
started in
oh, wow.
2000. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is that an audition process? You take the classes, the improv classes, and then you try to audition to get on the home team? And
Ye-
is there like a panel of judges that...
Yeah, there's no real.
It's a mystery how you get on the home team.
It is. Yeah.
A little bit.
Dangers, huh?
No, it's more of a process of doing shows and being in different troops and getting seen than it is an audition process.
So you send out an invite to like an up-and-coming star or someone that's
Or
you
what
like?
just generally
or-
notice, because the improv community there's a lot of people in it.
Right.
And you'll notice that so-and-so is showing up pretty often, and the stuff they're doing on stage is pretty amazing, and let's keep an eye on that person.
Okay.
And it maybe comes to a point like I remember that happening with Lauren, being like, Lauren's knocking this out. We need to bring her aboard. And
Sure.
so asking,
Recognizing
it's
talent and kind of
Yeah.
promoting that.
like, yeah.
And like you guys aren't exclusive to PlanetAnt. There's like a lot of overlap with Go Comedy and Royal Oak.
Absolutely.
Ferndale.
Ferndale, yeah.
Ferndale, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And where else do you guys typically perform? Is it just those two places?
Those are the main two places for me. There's also
area, yeah.
Pointless in Ann Arbor.
Pointless Brewery.
I've performed out there a couple times, and they have their own like sort of like home. It's not called the home team. I forget the Pointless Players, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, and then the Go Comedy has a resident cast. But yeah, those.
Yeah.
But Go and PlanetAnt are my main two places. I guess you would.
Same here,
Same, yeah.
It used to be just a brief history when Second City came to town in the early '90s. They were the only game in town,
Right,
and
right.
just about everyone in this town was like, "What is improv?" So it was introduced through that, and a lot of the people who'd taken classes there and had been part of the cast there. There was a group that had gone over to PlanetAnt to start doing shows,
Right.
and it just
Oh, that started up that PlanetAnt settle.
yeah, that's what started that. There was the Improv Inferno in Ann Arbor, but they over the years they ended up closing their doors. But now there's Pointless Brewery that has started there. So the improv scene now is probably bigger than it ever has been. But Second City in Detroit was, in my opinion, I think that's the fuse that, that lit all that.
Right,
It
right.
would. I don't think it would be here.
No.
Like, yeah, it just, yeah. There's the people that stayed after it left, and it
Yeah,
just
you're-
grew from there.
Yeah.
Some very, very recognizable, famous people came out of that community. Keenan Michael Key, Evan,
Mark Evan
Evan
Jackson.
Mark Evan Jackson.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Larry Campbell.
Larry Campbell.
Larry
Sure.
Campbell, Tim Robinson, and
Sam
Sam
Robinson
Richardson,
and Sam
the
Richardson
Detroiters.
from
Yep.
the Detroiters.
Yeah,
Did they ever stop by on stage and
they do.
stop
Yeah,
by
yeah.
and
Yeah.
When they're
I
in
don't know.
town, if they're there on
Yeah.
a Monday night or any special occasion, they'll jump up on stage and join us.
Now, part of the Detroit improv community right now is, and a major directional force is the Detroit Creativity Project. So I know both of you guys are contributing members. Do you guys both? What can you tell us a little bit about that first, and then what your roles are in that?
The Detroit Creativity Project, basically, we go into Detroit Public Schools and we teach improv. So sometimes we go in during the day, sometimes it's an after-school thing. But yeah, we're both teachers for the Detroit Creativity Project.
You go to different schools all in the Metro Detroit area, or is it?
Yeah, it's mainly Detroit Public Schools, and then
Okay.
there's been some charter schools, and there's one that we've done in Fraser. But yeah, mainly Detroit Public Schools that we go to.
And this provides that service to inner city kids that probably don't have that outlet otherwise. What have your experiences personally been like with that?
Really great in general. I mean, it's yeah,
It's super rewarding.
Yeah,
There's
it
a lot of the principles behind improv, the things they teach are like they give you better focus, better problem solving skills, and just with the main goal of make your partner look good.
Yeah.
So there's a real social aspect of it, and a lot of these things are what we're trying to give. Or not trying, I guess, what we're giving to these kids that we teach in the public school system. And for the most part, overall, it's been really positive and really rewarding.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these kids, it just kind of blows their mind what they discover they're capable of. And when you get to
Right.
see what they can do, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So it builds their confidence.
Yeah.
And public
Yes, very
speaking,
much.
which is a problem for a lot of people. That's always
Big
good.
problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge outlet for somebody that can get. It's a way better way for a lot of people to get comfortable speaking in front of larger groups. You start off in a more controlled scenario, and then you can move into different avenues where you're actually in front of a crowd or something
Yeah.
like that.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's consistent across the board with improv. You're starting off with whatever you're comfortable with, and then you expand from there, right? So, I've seen some of the shows at PlanetAnt and at Go Comedy where they do have a section afterwards where they just invite people to, hey, take a chance at it if you think you're okay with
the
it.
jams,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, the jams they call them. So, have you seen what's been your experience with that kind of thing? Where like
With jams?
Yeah.
Jams are, well, when I first started improvising, jams were like such an awesome thing for me. Like they were just, it was like a place to meet new improvisers or other new improvisers, but it was also a really great place to learn how to fail, which is a great skill. Like it sounds, of course you want to succeed, but like once you have fallen flat on your face in front of an audience and realize that you're not going to die, it's like, oh wow, this is amazing. I can do anything now.
Sure.
Well, that's not like stand-up comedy. Have either of you tried that, or
I've
had
not
that, or
actually.
You have tried
Yeah.
stand-up?
Yeah.
Do you still do it, or you kind of?
No, I've been meaning to get back into because I loved it when I did it. But yeah, it's a lot different than improv. I think stand-up is a lot closer to acting because you're
Right.
basically reciting a
lines.
Sure.
monologue that you've
You're
written
building a
or
script
had someone write
eventually.
for you.
Yeah. You know, like even if you're not using the same thing every night, but you're building jokes and making a
Yes.
structure that you can work off of, which is way different than improv, where you're being elastic. You're trying to
Yes.
be agile rather than.
Except
stick
if there's
with
a
what you-
heckler.
what
Heckler
you
can
know.
get some improv
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
going.
And I think a lot of stand-ups use like the best of both worlds. You see
Right.
someone like a Mark Maron or something. He's got his tick points that he hits, and probably line per line things. But a lot
Sure.
of it is just reacting
Oh,
to
yeah.
the energy he's getting from the audience, and that's what a lot of improv is about. Just reacting to what you're getting.
And I think we're going to cut off there. We have a quick video to show.
All right.
It's about the Detroit Creativity Project. After the video, we're going to come back and have some real live improvising during the show with our guests, Lauren and Dave. So we'll be back right after this.
Detroit is not what people think it is. It's better and it's worse. Hello, Detroit. The Detroit Creativity Project has taken a lot of my students by surprise.
The Detroit Creativity Project, at least in its initial phase, is a program to offer improv instruction in the public schools of Detroit.
Who are all these people? Where did you come from? Why are you standing here?
I love improv. It's just off the head.
I think that improvisation is one of probably the best skills that a person can learn for life.
There's really no class that you take that teaches you how to listen and how to get your point across. Improvisation does that.
This program isn't just for actors who want to create a career for themselves. This program is for regular people who want to create a better self.
Improv skills help in everything. If you're in an interview and you don't know how to respond to a question, those improv skills kick in.
When you come downstage in improvisation and you get a couple of suggestions from the audience, and then you create something out of nothing, you finish that and realize, I just did something impossible. What I just did is impossible. Everything else seems easy.
This is one of the best things that have ever happened to me. In Detroit, art funds are cut all the time. And it's really sad because we have a lot of people that have just performance in their hearts, and not a lot of people get to express that.
We're starting with improv because that's where we all come from. But with hope, this program will blossom and we'll be able to send artists into school to share their gifts in many art forms, whether that be the visual arts, in painting, or filmmaking, in fashion, in music.
People's view of Detroit is that it's a rundown city and there's only violence and crime. But what people don't see is programs like this who are trying to help people, which will make Detroit a better place.
And I think the one thing that's true about almost any Detroiter you meet is that they've got huge dreams.
My dream is to be in the NBA.
I want to be a famous singer.
Electrical engineer.
Marine biologist.
An actor.
There's so much I want to be. And I think dreams are what kind of fuels this city.
And what do you guys think? I mean, it was embarrassingly good.
Yes.
It just kind of depresses me that that quality of TV could be made.
Yeah.
But I mean, the heart is there. I mean, it makes you feel proud of what's going on in the DCP.
And yeah, it really is an exciting project, and it's the kind of thing that the teachers who teach through the DCP are extremely passionate about improv, and that I think the kids see that, and in a lot of ways you saw how they are in that video. It's really exciting for
The
them.
kids are passionate about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we go in and at the end of a 10-week session, and go and give them surveys and ask them questions, and the answers that they give are like, did someone give you a script? Because they just sound like so. They give the perfect answers, like improv inspired me to live a better life, and you're like, yes, thank you. But
Thanks,
it is, yeah. And then we're in tears leaving class. But yeah, it's an inspiring thing to do, to be able to teach the kids.
Yeah. And you saw Mark Evan Jackson in that video there. It's his wife Beth Hagenlacher and him that have started the Detroit Creativity Project, a way to give back to the city where they got their start. Certainly Mark did.
Right.
And they operate through the Bull Family YMCA downtown, the Y Arts program that Margaret Edwardowski, who is at PlanetAnt, she really started the home team. She's the director, I guess, there at the Y Arts. So it channels through them. And Kelly Rossi is also involved, our boss, who just a delight to work with. But it's just a lot of amazing people that bring it together.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we appreciate it, guys.
Sure.
But I think we'd all like to see a demonstration of real live improv in studio.
Yeah, enough talk about improv. Let's improv.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's confession time. We don't actually. No, we'll try. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Normally we'd be up and about and creating environment and interacting with imaginary objects. But we're kind of on a tether here, so we're going to stay on the couch and do a scene on the couch. And to get started, how about we got a studio audience? Let's get from you acknowledge yourselves.
Studio audience.
I'm not making this up.
Yeah, they're real.
Thanks for coming, guys.
How about to get started, a professional relationship for Lauren and I, say like doctor, patient, something like that. How do we know each other? Anything you go.
How about a doctor-patient?
Yeah.
All right.
Taxidermist and hunter.
Yeah.
Taxidermist and hunter. All right, that sounds good.
That doesn't look like her.
No, but
That's not the doe I shot.
no, I normally don't do does. I just do possums. Possums are my specialty. So if this doe looks a bit like a possum,
and it does,
that's because all the supplies I have here are possum parts.
I brought in a doe. It was a big doe. All right, it was the biggest doe I ever shot.
Listen, Edna, I'm not one to tell you your business, but you walked in with a doe, you're going to walk out of here with a dossum. First ever in the whole world.
I tell you, I knew you were funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, weird, crazy.
I'd have to be. I'm a taxidermist. I
Yeah.
deal with dead things. Who in their right mind would have a job like
Yeah,
that?
I don't know. Yeah, that is a messed up trade.
Well, here, I know it's much smaller now than when you brought it in, but well, I can send you home with a bag of those extra parts if you'd be happier with that.
Oh, I'm just gonna walk out here with a dossum and a bag of dead body parts?
Well, that sounds perfect. I totally agree. We should do that, yes. So taste. Yeah. Thank you. We can do another one if you want. Give me an idea of some of the games we play in the classes. We teach adult classes, kids classes with the DCP. A lot of them, they have certain structures about it. This is one we do called ABC. And how it works is every line of dialogue, I'll say a line that starts with A, she'll say one that starts with B, I'll say one that starts with C. So be listening to that, because it's in alphabetical order. And if you catch us humming the alphabet song, call us up.
Yes.
So to get started, how about, well, let's go for a location. Where are we? A specific location?
Proctologist waiting room.
A proctologist waiting room. All right. We'll take it. We heard it. We'll take it.
Making it easy.
And to make it more interesting, give us a letter of the alphabet we can start with.
M.
M. Thank you. So we'll start with M, go up to Z, back to A, and it ends when we come back to M. Make sense?
Yes.
Wow,
All right.
sounds tough.
Sounds tough. We
All
take
right.
you to
Oh,
this,
you go, guys. You got
to
it.
this proctologist's
We believe in you.
office.
Thank you.
And we begin like this. My x-ray results don't look very good, doctor.
No, they really don't.
Oh, my goodness.
Perhaps you should take some of this medication I have over here.
Quit trying to overdose me.
Right, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to help you at all, am I?
Said you would, but maybe that was a lie.
Trust me.
Understand, I've never trusted anyone in my life.
Very well. Well, maybe now's the time.
Why would I trust you now? Now?
Xavier, I think now has never been a better time for you to start trusting.
You may be right.
Zoinks! This bottle is empty.
About that, I may have thought they were mints earlier.
But I thought you didn't trust the medicine I was going to give you.
Can you forgive me for being hungry?
Don't beg for my forgiveness.
Every time you tell me that, you have to forgive me once in a while.
For sure. I guess I'll give in and forgive you.
Good. I appreciate it.
How about we start this over,
I'd like that.
Just take a couple.
Okay.
Look, there's some water over here. You must be parched.
My head is spinning.
Very good. That was very good.
Great.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
That was awesome, guys. Awesome show. Awesome, guys. That was the best we could ask for the short notice that we gave you on what was asked. So,
I'm double parked.
I mean, we're just about to the end of the show, but I do want to plug what you got coming up. So, as always, you guys have PlanetAnt, which is at planetant.com. You've got the Detroit Creativity Project.
Yep.
DetroitCreativityProject.org.
Yes.
And tell us about the shows at PlanetAnt. How often, when should they go to see you?
Every Monday is the home team, then there's the guest team, and then there's a jam afterwards. So that's
anyone can come up and
what time's that start?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, and actually, we now do a weekly workshop, a drop-in workshop. That happens before that. It runs from 5:30 to 7:30, and anyone takes that, their admission to the workshop gets them into the show. And
Was that like a class people can take?
Yeah, that anyone can drop in. So if you have improv experience or don't have improv experience and maybe just want a taste of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's a super cheap night out. The show itself is only $5.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's great. And,
yeah.
You know, I've been to multiple shows. It's been totally worth it. You know, there's a bar attached.
Yeah.
You can have a couple of drinks.
That helps.
It's a very good evening for a very low price.
Yeah.
I would absolutely recommend it to everybody.
Very good.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, there's a lot of avenues in. Men just going to shows, getting started that way, or if they're interested in actually doing it, what's the best way to start?
There are classes. PlanetAnt runs classes. We run them on. They usually run 6 weeks. So like about once every couple months, we're starting a new round of classes.
Great.
And there are different tiers. You can do like intro 1, intro 2, intermediate 1, you know, things like that. So you can continue on as long as you'd like.
Yeah. And there are other nights of improv too that we do. There's Thursday nights, which run in the Ant Hall like Monday nights, and then we have Saturday night, like a late night improv. So those are other nights where outside troops can sign up to perform, but also, you know, for newer improvisers to just check out more shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also classes. I know that Go Comedy offers classes. Pointless Brewery in Ann Arbor offers classes. So it's really, look around. You know, I'd recommend anyone. Look around, talk to people who've gone to those classes and decide which one is best for you.
Yeah.
That's how both of you started, right? In the classes?
Yeah, I started taking classes at Second City when it was here, and I think you
Same
the
here,
same.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's not something you can just jump into and.
Yeah.
A lot of people have, if you're up there with the right person and they make it their goal to make you look good, we could do a scene with either one of you. It will make you look good.
Awesome. That's what we're all looking forward to all the time. You know, somebody else promoting you. I mean, that's great.
Great.
And thanks so much for joining us here, guys. It's been an awesome time. The live performance was the best that we've ever had of a live performance.
Thank you.
That's good or bad?
So, to Lauren Bickers, to Dave Davies, Doug Glidden, and I'm Matt Ravenscroft, and thank you for joining us. Any crash you can walk away from is a good one.
Comedy Crash Landing. Sit back and chill. Comedy Crash Landing. You're gonna kill. Comedy Crash Landing. You'll always have fun, because any landing you walk away from is a good one.